All right, welcome to our weekly workspace setup webinar. My name is Michael Whitlark. I'm one of the coaches here at ClickUp, and we are super excited to have you all here. I'm based out of Charlotte, North Carolina, where it is a pretty dreary afternoon. If you would take a second and go over to our chat box and tell us where in the world you are from, that would be really great. One of the really cool things about ClickUp is that we are a platform that helps people all over the world become super productive. So let's see, we got people from Canada, Philadelphia, DC, Israel, wow, Orlando, Florida, North Carolina, Colorado, New York City. Man, this is awesome. People from all over the country, all over the world, all here to learn how to become super productive and maximize their time inside of ClickUp. All right, so a couple things just to get us started. One, we have about 45 minutes set up for us to go through this webinar. Sometimes we go a little bit long. I want to make sure that we take some time at the end to try and answer some specific questions from you all. So we will try and set that aside at the end. Seattle, I was born in Seattle, actually, so welcome. We have some of our other fantastic coaches, some of my colleagues that are here also to answer your questions as we go through the webinar. So if you will go to the Q&A section, and if you have specific questions, they are here itching for you to give them something to answer. They are incredibly knowledgeable, fantastic people, really friendly. Don't be shy. If you got questions, go over there and ask them. Also, we are recording this webinar. So if I move too fast or if I highlight a feature that you were just like, oh, that was really great, I forgot how we did that, no problem at all. You can always go back in and reference that recording later. We'll put that up on our YouTube page. All right, so let's go ahead and dig in. Again, my name is Michael Whitlark. I'm one of the coaches here at ClickUp, and let's get started. So let's talk about why. Well, here's the things that we're going to talk about: why you should use ClickUp, right? How we organize our workspace, right? One of the things that a lot of people get intimidated by is that dreaded empty workspace, right? And we're going to help you get oriented to that workspace and also figure out best practices for building your workspace from the ground up. And once we do that, we will jump into an empty workspace and we will build it with some templates and really see how we can get started within ClickUp. All right. So our core mission here at ClickUp ultimately is to save people time. That's really what we're all about. We want to be a productivity platform that increases your productivity, makes you more efficient, and just makes things better for you. One of the things we like to say a lot is that we want to save you one day every single week. Right. Imagine what you can get accomplished if you had a day's worth of time back every single week where you could invest that time. And then imagine that that trickles down and is available for every single person within your company. They are all saving a whole day every single week. Imagine what you can get accomplished with all of that time back. That is our goal, to do that for you. And we do that in a couple of different ways: focus, flexibility, and transparency. Focus, what I mean by that is there are so many different tools out there that all want your attention, right? From your email to your text messaging, to your spreadsheets, to whatever project management tool or platform that you're using now, they all are having notifications and alerts and they all want your attention, right? Look at your browser right now. If you were anything like I used to be before I started at ClickUp and using ClickUp, my browser was packed full of tabs, so many tabs that they were so small, they had squeezed the thumbnail out of it, and I had no idea what was what, and I maybe even had to open a whole nother browser just to hold more tabs, right? We want to eliminate all of that. We want to be a place where you can pull all of your things under one single roof and just get rid of the clutter. That's what we want to do. We want to bring focus to your workflow to maximize your productivity. We also want to be an incredibly flexible platform, right? The goal is to be able to service whether you are an individual or you are a giant company, right? Whether you have an incredibly a complicated workflow with lots and lots of different steps involved, or you have simple task management that is just like open and closed. ClickUp has the ability to be flexible enough to make all of those things possible. We have lots and lots and lots of powerful features, but if you don't need them, you can turn them off and get them out of your way. And then transparency. This is one of the things that I think is the coolest thing about ClickUp is we create a source of record that makes it easy for you to see exactly what is happening, when it's happening, who's doing it, all inside of your workspace. Right. For instance, let's think about email. I hate email. I'm so glad that I don't have to use it anymore because of ClickUp. Right. Email is just this fire hose of information that comes at you, and every single thing within it gets the same level of urgency, whether it be an email from a friend, a work-related email, or that spam that you don't even understand how you're signed up on their email lists. It all comes at you and you have to sort it, filter it, and things get lost all the time. Right. With ClickUp, we can eliminate the need for that. We can bring conversations into a meaningful space in a meaningful way, and we can keep track of everything that is happening inside of a task inside of your workspace, right? And once you have filtered out the noise and you are able to see just what you need to see, it gives you a place where you can move forward confidently and create action. So our vision is the same as it was when we first got started 3 years ago. It's hard to believe that we're only 3 years old. We have grown so much since then, but we keep our core values at the center. We want to be a place where we can eliminate the clutter, bring all of your work into one house. We want to be able to accommodate all different size teams. We want to be flexible and less opinionated, and we want to be able to accommodate every single person and every single workflow. Okay, so let's talk specifics about ClickUp. This is what the hierarchy of your ClickUp workspace is like, right? And I want to go over this, and we're going to go over this here. And once again, once we get inside of the workspace, because some of it is really key to understanding how ClickUp can work for you. So if we think of an analogy like your company is a physical space, a building, right? That would be your workspace. Everything that happens within your company is happening inside of your workspace. At the other end of the spectrum down here, we have your tasks, right? These are the individual things that have to be accomplished day to day, right? And in between them, we have different ways of organizing all of those things. Back up here, we have spaces. Spaces are a required element of the hierarchy. And these are designed to be mostly separate, but not necessarily completely separate entities within your workspace, right? You can kind of think of these as departments, or if we're back to our physical analogy, these would be different floors of your company, right? Back down over here, we have tasks, and tasks must live on, must live on lists, right? So a list is a place to organize, or to a bucket to hold all of your tasks. And if those lists become super complicated, your projects become expansive, and you possibly need different or multiple lists to contain them all, you can certainly organize lists into folders, though that is not a requirement. Folders are an optional component of your workspace hierarchy. Right, so we have workspaces broken down into spaces, broken down into maybe folders, but definitely lists, and then tasks. And sometimes a task can be a simple check the box, or it can be complicated and have multiple steps involved. And that's where we have the ability to create subtasks. Subtasks within subtasks, we go really deep here, and we have nested subtasks. Or sometimes you can just have checklists, simple yes, no items. Whoops. All right, so that being said, let's dig in. Again, a reminder, if you have questions, please direct them to the Q&A section, where our coaches are here and eager to answer those questions along the way. All right, so here we are inside of a blank workspace. Now, if you're like me, this is incredibly intimidating, right? And it might be the reason that you're here, because you're staring at your empty workspace thinking, well, now what, right? You have an entrepreneurial spirit. You have an idea in mind. You went out and you bought your building, and you went in there with your Moleskine journal. And now, oh my God, I have to make things happen. Well, that's what we're here for. So let's just go ahead and get started and create a space. right? And let's call it space just to keep things nice and easy. I'm going to move through some of these pretty quickly, but I'm going to pause a little bit here and there just to highlight some of our features. So Dunder Mifflin Office is one of my favorite shows, so I'm going to use that as our company. And this is where we can use statuses. Statuses are so great. They are the incremental steps that your tasks will take as they move through your workflow. And these can be as simple or as complicated as you need them to be. For instance, here we have simply to do and complete, right? But maybe there are more steps involved. Maybe we have something a little bit more complex. Like here, we have some status templates you can choose from, like Scrum. And we have pending, in progress, accepted, rejected, blocked, and more, right? We always have the ability to adjust these. We can change their order. We can change their color. We can rename them. We can delete them. We can adjust these as we need, right? This is too complicated for me. And especially if you're new to ClickUp, I would urge you to keep things as simple as possible. Don't let your workflow require its own workflow. So I like Kanban, open, in progress, review, and closed. So let's use that one, right? Here we have ClickApps. This is what I'm talking about, where you have the ability to make ClickUp as complicated or as streamlined as possible. We're going to just skip over this, but I do want to make sure I turn that one on to highlight it for you. And then, of course, we have different ways to view your tasks. We'll move through this pretty quickly, too. We have list, board. I'll turn on calendar, and let's go ahead and create our space. All right, here we are, folks, making progress, making things happen. We have a space. We have a list because, again, all tasks must live on a list. And then here we can have a task, if I can spell correctly. Right, so these are the components of our hierarchy. And why not? Let's go ahead and create a folder and call it folder just so that we can see all of the elements. Okay, we now have space, folder, and list, right? All of the elements, and task, all of the elements within our hierarchy. I'm gonna go over this hierarchy one more time because there is some things about it that are really crucial to understand in being able to use ClickUp effectively. So I'm moving through this pretty quickly. Again, it is recorded. And if you have questions, if I'm moving too fast, definitely direct them to our Q&A section. They are happy to answer those questions for you. Okay, so we're going to use our mind map view, which is a pretty cool feature. And we are going to create a little visual of our hierarchy. So first, I have a workspace. I have a few spaces here within that workspace. And then let's pick one of our spaces and let's add some folders to it. So folder 1, folder 2. And again, you are not required to use folders. We could even have lists living directly within a space. And then these folders get broken down into lists. So it's list 1, list 2, list 3. We like the triptychs. And then, of course, lists contain your tasks. So task 1, task 2, task 3, task 3, why not? All right, and then tasks, of course, can be broken down into smaller components like subtasks. Those subtasks can even have their own level of complexity with nested subtasks. That's a ClickUp. I can show you how to turn that on as well. You can even have checklists here, right? And this, we're going to use this cool little feature here to give us a nice visual of this structure. This is your workspace. From workspace broken down into spaces, folders, lists, tasks, and so forth, right? The reason that I want to take a moment here to pause is to show you that location really matters. For instance, those statuses that I set up, right, where we have open, in progress, review, and closed, we created those at the space level. They will trickle down to everything inside of that space. When we start using custom fields, they will trickle down. If I create them at the folder level, they will trickle down into all of the lists, tasks, and so forth within that structure, right? If I was to create custom fields here at this folder, they would not apply to this folder because they are not downstream from it. So just one thing to keep in mind as you start to build your workspace, keep this structure in mind. Okay, so now that we have a basic understanding of our workspace structure, let's start to put some stuff into it so we can play around. So I'm going to turn to you all, and if you would go to the chat, we're going to open up a template center. And I'm going to ask you to give me some ideas of some workflows that you would like us to explore today. We have all sorts of great use cases that we can pull from here. What's your industry? All right, I see client onboarding, web projects, marketing. I think we did marketing last week. Creating a video. Ooh, video production. That could be kind of fun. Tax preparation. It is tax season. I like this. Let's go with video production. All right, so here we go. So again, we have a template center, and inside of it, we have lots of different types of templates: space, folder, list, task, documents, views, etc. We have a video production list template, and then we have some general project management folder templates. So I'm actually going to load both of these in here. So I'm going to start with a project management template, and I'll go back in here and grab that video production list template in a second. One thing I do want to pause here and highlight is that templates are an often overlooked, really cool feature of ClickUp that can really help you maximize your productivity and efficiency. Right? Not only do we have templates, right? And it's probably unlikely that you will be able to pull a template directly out of our template center, load your tasks in it, hit the ground running, and never look back, right? It will probably require some customization to fit your workflow, right? And as you do that, you can save that template or build your own template once you get comfortable with ClickUp. And this is one of those things that I think is so cool. Remapping the dates, right? So once you build a template, right, you know that in order to make a video, say to post on YouTube, and say you have like a weekly video on your channel and you post every Friday, right? You know that on, by Monday, you need to have your idea in place. By Tuesday, you need to have called the person that you're going to interview or your guest. By Wednesday, you need to be starting to lay out your scenes, etc. You can build a template to do all of those things with due dates assigned. And then every single week you reload your same template and you can remap the dates, and it will slide those dates along on the calendar. Let's actually go with the start date here. And we'll apply that template for you with dates already put in place. It is such a cool feature. All right, so here we go, project management, right? And if we look here, it's got some due dates. And even though this template was built way back in 2020 in the past, these due dates are all projected into the future based on the calculation from the start date. So cool. All right, and then let's go back in here, and we will, underneath this folder, we will add a list from our template center one more time, and we will zero in on that video production list template. There's no due dates assigned on this one, so I'm not going to bother with the remapping of the dates. Okay, so here is this video production one. Okay, so let's just orient ourselves to what we have going on here. We have tasks within this list living in this folder and this space, right? We have some columns here that are showing us some fields, some custom fields, right? We have a status field here revealed. Assignees. Let's go ahead and assign these to myself, and maybe to Mr. Halpert, and maybe to Pam. I'll take on a little bit more work here. We can even use a multitask toolbar. Check this out. I can assign these tasks all to myself with just like that. And if I had lots of tasks, that would be really convenient, right? Okay, we have a label custom field over here. We've got lots of cool stuff. So let's go into one of these tasks to really orient ourselves to what's going on. All right, this is a task view, right? This is where all the action happens. We have a couple of things that I like to think of as best practices when you are creating tasks, right? The first thing that you always want to do when you make a task is give it a status. You want to know what is happening with this task, what phase of your workflow it is in, what's its status, right? So even it's just the beginning idea to do, you want to understand where this exists within your workflow. Next thing you want to do is always assign it. Even if you are in a workspace all by yourself, you want to assign it to yourself. And we've got some cool features that will do that for you automatically if you are by yourself. But it is just good practice to always assign it to someone. And I will talk a little bit more why that's important later on in our webinar. All right, so a status and assignee come over here. We can create a due date, right? Always give yourself some accountability and ensure that you have something in mind for this, a time in mind for this task to be completed on, right? So a due date, okay? And then down here, you will see that all of these custom fields are attached. We can see, now some of these fields have rolled over from our folder template that we have built, right? So I'll go over that again in just a second. Well, let's take a minute and just do that really quick. So I created, let's go back here to this mind map that we made, which was here, right? So my project management is a folder. And so all lists within it, including my video production list, are going to scoop up the custom fields that are built into it, right? So just something to keep in mind. All right, so let's jump into this task one more time. We have a status, we have an assignee, we have a due date, we have some custom fields, and now we have this block right here, which I think is one of the key features of your tasks. This is so cool. Check this out. This is what I'm talking about with source of record, right? So we can see that 3 minutes ago, I created this task. I assigned it to myself. I was added as a watcher, which is right here. That means that any updates for this task, I will be notified of, right? I changed the status of the task and I set the due date of the task. All of that is your source of record. Right now, all of this happened within a few minutes, but imagine if this was a task that was taking the span of days or weeks or even months, right? You have a clear sense of who is doing what at what time. Fantastic. All right, down here, we can also use our comments to be able to build in more communications. This is where we are going to finally say goodbye to your email, right? So let's mention Jim, bring him into the conversation and say, what are you doing on this task today? Right now, Jim has been alerted. He's been added as a watcher. Now he is a part of the conversation. We have brought him into it, right? Maybe I need to bring in more people and say, Pam, stop flirting with Jim and make some progress today, right? I can even assign this to her. Now she has another level of accountability, right? I have added her as a watcher into this task by mentioning her. I have given her some instructions. I have built in some accountability with an assignment. And if she comes in here, she can reply in the thread and say, I got it, right? Rob was upset anyway, right? So now that thread is built right in here, and that conversation is in a meaningful, clear way, right? And what I did say, we were going to say goodbye to email, but maybe you're not ready to let go of it, and that's okay. If you need to cling to email, no problem. You can do that right here inside of ClickUp. How cool is this? You can, instead of comment, you can use this little button here, and we can email from directly inside of a task, right? So here we go. Bring them in to the conversation, right? And we can send that email. And now that email is a part of the conversation that is right here on the task. We don't have to go looking for it. We know exactly where that piece of communication exists. And if they reply to this email, it will show up inside of this task. And I love it. So cool. Okay, let's leave our task view and let's go back to some of our larger views here. Again, if you have questions, don't hesitate. Go to our Q&A section and let our coaches know what your questions are. Okay, so here we go. We have a list view, right? And that is going to put all of our tasks into a list. We have the ability to add additional custom fields here. These are brand new custom fields that we can add, right? Everything from relationships, phone numbers, money columns, location, labels, drop downs. This side are custom fields that already exist on this task that we can just choose to reveal, right? So we can use a drop down custom field. I like to think of drop down custom fields as giving us the ability to have an additional set of statuses on a task. So for instance, we also have the ability to group. So let's group by status. All right, so here we are. This is a task that is in the idea status, right? But we also can say, I am in progress of building this idea into something that I can film someday, right? We can build in, and these are customizable. Obviously, we can do whatever we want to with them here. We can change the name. We can change any of these custom field labels here, give them new colors. We have the ability to customize this to be whatever we need it to be, right? Again, to customize these views, we have the ability to group. We can group by assignee, right? If I need to know who's working on what, right? Let's add in a priority field here. And let's give some of these tasks some priorities, just kind of at random, to really build in a little pretend workflow for ourselves here. I have a lot of urgent tasks on my plate. This is a little scary. All right, now I have a grouped by assignee. Maybe I want to float all of my high priority items to the top of my view. I can sort by all of these different categories, right? Maybe I want to sort by priority and then even make sure that I give these things some due dates. I can even sort by multiple columns, right? So I can sort first by priority indicated by the little one there, and then I can sort by due date so that I know that the things that are coming up at me in the near future are the ones that are at the top. Let's flip that so that the ones, there we go. So today is high priority, right? Super cool. I can even use filters, right? ClickUp is all about eliminating the noise, right? So maybe I am working here and I don't want to see Pam's or Jim's, right? I can filter them out. So filter by assignee, where the assignee is just me, right? And now the noise is gone, right? So cool. This filter will, however, be the view that everyone else sees. This is also something that you should make sure you're doing is saving your views, right? If it's a common thing for people to build the perfect view and then forget to save it, and when they come back, it's back to normal. So make sure that you save. I like to turn on that auto save feature so that it's saving along the way. So now when Jim comes and looks at this particular list with the list view, he will see all the tasks that are assigned to me. Well, that's not particularly useful for him. That's okay. We can use a dynamic filter called me mode. This is so cool. Now, all of the tasks that are assigned to me are visible to me, but when Jim comes and looks at this list, he will see the tasks that are assigned to him. Also, anything that I create, you will notice it is automatically assigned to me. So if you're working by yourself, this is a great option because all tasks will automatically be assigned to you. All right, so those are some couple features here, right, that we have explored. Let's move over to a different kind of view and play around there. So you'll notice up here, I have a list view. I also have a board view, right? This might be more familiar if you're coming from somewhere like Trello, or if you like the Kanban methodology. Let's get rid of this so we can have some more tasks populated in here. This is designed to be a more visual way to move your tasks through your workflow, right? So it's in the idea phase and you can just grab a task, move it over, and now it is in a new status, right? 10 reasons to start your side hustle. If we come over here, it is now in a different status, right? So that's pretty cool. It's by default, it is grouped by status, but you can certainly change it up, right? We can group by assignee. So we can get a sense of, wow, I've got too much stuff on my plate. No problem. I can just give it to Jim and pass it off, right? That's pretty cool. You can group by priority, right? What's the stuff that needs to be done right now? The stuff that needs to be done also right now, high priority, right? You can mix it up and use it how you need to. Okay, so that's board view, right? Oh, also, if you'll notice, so on list view here, you can see that there are lots of custom fields here, and there is tons of information visible right on this view. In the board view, it's a little bit more simplified and streamlined, right? I can see the title, I can see subtasks, right? We can add a subtask. Let's do that. Why not? So subtask, right? And we can either see it as just indicated here, or we can even reveal it, show subtasks. Uh-oh. Oh, here we go. Lots of menus here. All right, so that subtask is revealed for us. Really fantastic. Yeah. But we also have the ability to reveal other custom fields on here, and we can pack this board view with as much information as we want or need, right? So we can reveal that what type of film is this? Is it A roll or B roll? And it'll be visible right here on our board view. Awesome. All right, so let's go over to our calendar view, right? Calendar view, everybody has a calendar. We live and die by our calendars. You can't get things done without being able to know when they need to be done, right? And the calendar view is a great place because you can almost function entirely from the calendar view, right? Again, here we have the ability to reveal different custom fields, right? So let's reveal that same one, the label here. We can reveal the amount of money we're spending on that particular task. So it won't reveal here because these don't have that custom field filled in for these tasks here, right? But we can reveal whatever custom fields we want to be able to reveal on the calendar, right? Currently, they are color coordinated by their status, right? So we can change their status here, right? And it will be reflected there. But if we have lots of different lists with lots of different information, so let's come up here to the project management folder. Again, keeping in mind our hierarchy, we are at the folder level and being able to see all of the tasks within all of these lists. Wow, this can be overwhelming. We can give these lists different colors to help us better visualize that and be able to see exactly what is what. All right, so somebody says we've lost sound. Everybody still with me? All right, cool. Yes, awesome. All right, good. All right, so your lists are color coordinated now, which is great, right? And now on this calendar view at the folder level, this is a little bit overwhelming. We can, rather than color them by status, we can color them by what list they are in, right? This is a little bit overwhelming. There's a lot of these that are like month-long projects. We can always filter out the noise. We can say filter down to the location that we need to see the most. So let's filter it down to just our video production list and get rid of all of that noise, right? We have some unscheduled tasks here, no problem. We can click and drag them and drop them right into our calendar. We can create new tasks right from the calendar. New task, great, awesome. And the calendar is a really awesome way to be able to function here inside of ClickUp. Okay, as we're kind of getting to our time here, there's a couple features I really want to make sure that we highlight, and then I will turn to you all to get some feedback as to some questions that you would like to see answered. So one of the things that I hit on lots and lots was make sure that you assign tasks to yourself. It is really key, right? Or assign them to someone, right? So these tasks have assignees. When I come up here to my home, this is a place that you should get really comfortable with going to, right? This will give you exactly what you need to see for your day, right? So all tasks that have a due date that are assigned to you will show up here. That means that anyone who looks at their home will only see the stuff that is relevant to them, right? This is your central hub for your ClickUp experience, right? So I have some reminders that are due, right? I have a task that is due for me today. I want to make sure that I eat healthy, but that's overdue. I missed the boat on that. I guess I'll have to try again next time. I have stuff that's coming at me in the near future, and then I have stuff that is unscheduled, right? That is assigned to me. It looks like I don't have a lot of tasks that with due dates. Let's just jump back over here and give me some stuff that has some due dates. So once again, I'm going to go to me mode to filter out the stuff that is just for me. I'm going to use my multitask toolbar. I'm going to assign these tasks to myself on this date, right? Boom, just like that. Now when I come back over here to my home, I will see all sorts of new tasks involved here, right? So these tasks, they are assigned to me. They are due today. I can click and drag them and drop them right onto my daily agenda. And now I have given it a time that it is due. That's really great. These are tasks that have some recent activity on them. I can grab them from here and put them in my lineup. This is what I really want to focus on for today. if I have tasks that have comments assigned to me, so let's give myself an assigned comment right here. Then when I come back to my home, you'll see that it's indicated right there. And I probably need to give it a quick refresh for that to be able to populate. All right. Right. So any comments that are relevant to me will show up here. Right. This is just your clearinghouse for all things you, which is really, really great. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So how about we go over to our Q&A section and see what kind of questions you might have for me. All right, so is there a way to see all tasks assigned to me regardless of space or folder? Yeah, there sure is. That's a great question. Right. So keeping in mind our hierarchy, right? We have spaces, we have folders, we have lists, and then we have tasks. Right here at the very top of your hierarchy is your everything, everything view, right? And you can see everything. So this right here, I'm seeing my everything and I'm in me mode. Right. So if I just go to everything, I see all of everything that is happening in my entire workspace. And I'm sure this is an overwhelming experience for anyone. Right. So here is a list that is in the space and in the folder and the list. That's a task that lives right there. Right. Here we have this pink list with tasks within it. I can just go to me mode and it will filter out only the things that are assigned to me. Right. So that would be where you would want to go for that. Let's see, what else can we do here? Can you share some insight about the integration tools like Slack, Google Calendar, whether we can send emails directly from within tasks? Yeah, absolutely. All right, so integrations, great place, great idea. So let's come here. This is our avatar menu. We can go over to integrations, right? And we have lots of integrations that you can build in. We can use this to bring all of those tools that you are using into your ClickUp workspace, right? So Slack is a great one, right? You can, looks like I got something going on with here. I have a lot of company stuff on there, so I probably won't reveal that. But right, so we have Slack, we have Microsoft Teams, we have all sorts of time tracking integrations, Intercom, all sorts of great stuff here. Your email you can find here where you can link your email account. Slack, you can tie Slack to your ClickUp, which is really cool too. You can create tasks within ClickUp. You can change the tasks from within Slack. Right, those are some really great integrations. Zapier is a really cool integration. This is a third-party integration that can bring all sorts of different programs into your ClickUp, from Google Sheets to there's literally thousands of different tools that you can bring into ClickUp, right? So Bitbucket, Evernote, Salesforce, webhooks, there's all sorts of integrations here. You can go to their, when you make a Zap here, you can connect to all sorts of different stuff, right? And it can show you some of those things here. So, Google Sheets, if you just search that, it can show you all of the different things that you can do with it, right? So lots of integrations, lots of cool ways, again, to just bring all of your tools together under one roof. If we can get back to our page. Yeah. Okay, so all right, so I want to know the real due date. Is there a way to see tasks that I should be working on for the week or for a few days? Sure, yeah. You can use filters, right? You can filter a due date, and then you can say is in a range, right? So date range, and then you can say, from here to here. So any tasks within this range, that's what I want to know about, right? And it will pull tasks there. I don't have any tasks. Let's see if I go back to my project management, oopsie, and try and do that same filter. enter due date, date done. Oh, there it is. Due date is date range this month. And I'm sure there is a this month option, right? And it will pull all of those tasks right there, right? All right. When managing time of coworkers, myself, or employees, what is the best way to monitor workload? Ooh, such a great question. All right. So we have some really great resource management options, right? So we have workload view, right? Now this is going to hinge on one of our Click apps, and you can get to your Click apps from here, right? I did that really fast. Let me do that one more time for you. Here, down to Click apps. Right, and then we can use time estimates. Turn this on, right? And now we can add, let's go back to our list view here and just build this in so that we can see it in action. Time estimate, and let's just give some of these tasks some time estimates. 4 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever. Let's just give them some times. 30 minutes. Okay, so now on this workload, we have these tasks, and based on their time estimate, right, we have tasks that are assigned here with time estimates built into it, right? And we can see based on Dwight's workload, how much of that is being taken up. So let's open this one up and let's just max this out a little bit. Let's give him an unachievable task. Let's give it 15 hours and see what happens. Right now, you will see that he is over capacity on that particular day. No problem. We can adjust that time scale and it will balance out that workload over the course of the week. We can stretch it. We can move it. Oh boy. We can do whatever we need to do to kind of adjust his workload, right? And he's got a little bit too much going on for him that day. No problem. We can bring it down here and assign it to Jim. Right. So the workload view is a super cool feature for managing resources. We also have something called box view, right? And this will give you a sense of all of the users in your workspace, the tasks that they have in all of these different statuses, right? The overall completion, right? We have 3 completed tasks of all of their tasks, right? We get a sense of their completion rate. We can see, a visual of that here, right? So both of these are really great visuals for understanding your human resources within your workflows. All right, maybe we got time for one more. Yeah, let's just try and squeeze one more into here. Let me just come over back to my chat. And, okay. How is the search organized across different levels? Do you have general search option that'll bring every piece of info that discovers in the search term? Yeah, we got that. No problem. You got to search right here, right? And you can search all things, tasks, documents, charts, files, people, right? And it will filter through all of those things, right? And it will give you right here, it will indicate on that task where it is, right? Its location. You have space, folder, list. Right, so you've got a really great search feature that can find exactly what you need. All right, folks. Well, that is coming to the end of our time. So I did want to highlight one last thing here. We at ClickUp absolutely believe in having the best customer service that we can possibly provide you, right? And what I mean by that is if you come right here, we have lots of resources, videos, webinars. I'm living inside of that little box, right? That's pretty fun. Or if you have more questions, you can connect with us, connect with ClickUp, right? Or you can even start a live chat, right? And we are working super hard to be able to give you instant chat responses, right? It's not quite instant, but we are working really, really hard to make it as close to that as possible, right? So you can reach out to us in our chat. You can reach out to us in our email, help@clickup.com. And our goal is to be able to provide you with the very best customer service we can, right? If you have questions about features, if you have questions about workflows, you want advice, look at that. We've got one of our fantastic chat people right here ready to respond to whatever question I have, right? So don't hesitate to reach out at all, and make sure that you come back and visit this webinar next week when we have it. We have another webinar tomorrow. And of course, this is recorded and will be available for you in the future. All right. Thanks so much for being here. And we look forward to seeing you next time.